Good afternoon, Purple family. Welcome to Shades of Purple, a Prince podcast. I'm your host, Ronica Crutchfield. So, I know it's been a long time since I have done an episode. So, I just put out an episode about Sister, the Dirty Mind song. So, check that out. But I also wanted to do another episode because, like I said, it's been so long since I've did any episodes. So, I wanted to review Under the Cherry Moon. My husband and I recently saw it. It is free on YouTube. So check it out if you've been living under a rock and have never seen it. Of the three movies, Prince movies, I would definitely say that Under the Cherry Moon is a very close second to Purple Rain. And the reason why I say that is because just like Purple Rain, Under the Cherry Moon has the Parade album as its soundtrack, and the Parade album it was one of my favorite Prince albums, especially the albums that he came out in the '80s, because a lot of people, focus on Prince's '80s music, which I mean, I will be honest, I feel like his '80s music was probably, the strongest he was. But I don't the '90s and 2000s and the aughts, all the music that he put out later, it's still stellar stuff. But the '80s was definitely where he got his bag. And after Purple Rain, Parade came out 2 years after Purple Rain in 1986. He really felt like he wanted to do another movie, and he wanted to have more control because, of course, he didn't have a lot of control with Purple Rain, with the director. Like he did help write the screenplay, but he didn't as far as like direction. So knowing the type of, just control freak that Prince was, I'm not surprised that he wanted to do another movie and he wanted to do it his way. Now, initially, he did solicit Martin Scorsese to direct, but he turned it down because he knew from the start that he wanted to do the movie in black and white because he was going after the 1940s 50s old school black and white aesthetic. He wanted to make like or like a romantic comedy, is what kind of he was looking for. So he knew that he wanted to do it in black and white. And then he really liked the cinematography that was done by uh, uh, not Martin Scorsese, but his cinematographer in the movie Raging Bull, starring Robert De Niro. So that's why he reached out to Martin Scorsese to get him to direct. But he declined, and so he ended up going with this lady named Mary Lambert, who had not directed any movies, but she had directed a couple of music videos by Madonna. And so they, at some point during the filming, had some kind of falling out. And so he ended up directing it himself. And honestly, I think that Prince did a stellar job. I really do. I don't know how. I guess obviously they had more of a budget for Under the Cherry Moon, because when you go from, because I was trying to figure out how do you go from Under the Cherry Moon to Graffiti Bridge? And obviously money makes a huge difference, because I mean, I could see Prince's vision. And I'm not going to talk a little bit, I'm not going to talk as much about the plot, because I kind of feel like if you're listening to this, you should probably know about the plot of Under the Cherry Moon, but I will briefly just say, so it's about Prince's character, Christopher Tracy, and Jerome, his character, Tricky. They're basically two male gigolos in the French Riviera who are basically scamming rich women, sleeping with them, and trying to get their fortune. I mean, that's basically what it is. And so they come across Mary Sharon, played by, oh my God, I would forget her name. But she's a kind of like a really well known English actress now. Oh my God, I can't believe I forgot her name. Um, but anyway, so Mary Sharon is her name. Her name will probably come to me in a minute, y'all. But so she plays Mary Sharon, and Prince, Christopher Tracy and Mary Sharon, they end up falling in love after, it was supposed to be, just Christopher wanting to try to, use her for her money, because she was you know, a trust fund baby. She inherited, I think, was it I don't know how much it was now, but it was millions of dollars that she was supposed to inherit when she turned 21. And so Prince and Christopher and Tricky Jerome show up at her 21st birthday party, and that's how they meet. And so they go through the motions. She goes through the motions of not liking him and knowing that that he's really just about trying to get her money. But she eventually lets her guard down and falls in love with him. And at the end, Christopher Tracy dies. He gets shot by one of Mary Sharon's father's henchmen because the father did not want Christopher and Mary to be together. Um, so a lot of people didn't like the ending. I didn't really care for it because I knew Prince wanted to be dramatic, I guess, and felt like, Christopher Tracy had to die. Because, I mean, when you look at the song, Sometimes It Snows in April, that's the first line of the song. Tracy died after a long fought civil war. The civil war, I guess, between him and Mary Sharon's father. So I guess because of that, so I don't know, like I think he wrote that song before, obviously before the movie. So, and oddly enough, as everybody kind of knows now, he recorded that song April 21st of 1985. So, 29 years to the day of his death, he wrote that song. Um, so because of that, it kind of ended, obviously on a very sad note because he passed away. But I thought the comedy was good. It could, I mean, looking back now from a 2025 perspective, I think it might be a little corny, especially the whole like record store. Like, I'm pretty sure it got pretty big laughs back in the 80s though. But I really think as good as Jerome was as Tricky, I will say I think that Morris Day would have probably did a better job. And that's no hate on Jerome whatsoever. But I just think that, they were basing Jerome's character off of Morris Day's character. And also, a little bit of Christopher Tracy had a little bit of Morris Day's character. But really, Morris Day's character was Prince. A lot of people act like they don't, even Morris Day himself has acknowledged that. So Morris Day's character, Morris Day, was Prince, just like Jamie Starr was Prince. So, I mean, being a Gemini, Prince had all of these different characters that were him. So Morris Day's character was him, Jamie Starr's was him, Joey Coco, Alexander Nevermind, like all of these pseudonyms that he went by after he started, writing for other groups and other people. So, but I love the scenery. I would have loved now. As much as I understand the aesthetic the Prince was going for, I really would have loved to see the movie in color. And I keep hoping that whenever we get another super deluxe edition, that it will be Parade, and along with that box set, we will get a color copy of this movie. Will it happen? I'm not getting my hopes up on it, and I don't think you should either. But we can all dream, right? Because it's coming up on 2 years since we've had a super deluxe edition of an album. The last one they did was, of course, Diamonds and Pearls, that came out in 23. And so Prince Vault, Prince Estate. Yeah, Prince Vault too. Prince Vault, Prince Estate. We're ready for the next super deluxe edition of the next album. And I know they talked about doing something for Around the World in a Day, but I don't think it was a super deluxe edition. I could be wrong about that. I'm kind of behind on my Prince news. But I mean, whatever they put out, I'm gonna buy. So whether it's Around the World in a Day or the Parade, I would prefer Parade only because I would love to get my hands on a color copy of Under the Cherry Moon. Because I like just about every song on the Parade album. To me, it's another album that's non-skippable. Every song on there is a really good song. And check out my review of the Parade album. But some of the highlights are on the album is I love Life Can Be So Nice. You Need Another Lover. Um, What was another? Of course, Sometimes It Snows in April, even though it's a very sad song. I do like it. And it took me a while actually to kind of really come around to that song because at first I didn't really understand why it was so sad. I mean, of course, it's a sad, slow song, but I think he's definitely had sadder songs, such as, Come Back or Way Back Home, much later in his catalog, or Breakdown. Um, but now, I guess definitely, since he's been gone now almost 10 years, it's crazy to, go back and listen to the song and just hear how sad he sounds, and that was another thing that I really liked about Prince as an artist is that he was able to emote, I mean, just like pull those emotions out of his voice, of his vocal performance. And and that's a talent in and of itself because there's not a lot of artists that can do that, that can make you feel something. So it's almost like listening to the song. It's not just listening to a song. It's like having a whole experience with a whole range of emotions. And that's how I kind of felt watching this movie because at one point there was kind of a competition going on between Christopher Tracy and Tricky for Mary Sharon because at one point Tricky was like, I can get with Mary Sharon. Like, she likes me. And to her credit, she was kind of going back and forth a little bit. Like, it was obvious she was feeling more so Christopher Tracy than she was Tricky. But she would say things like, Tricky, come dance with me. Or, she would kind of just casually flirt with Tricky, despite Tricky having a relationship with the French landlord lady. So, and then it came to a head when Tricky just decided to blow up the whole spot and let Mary know in front of Christopher that they had made a bet. As far as like how long it would take for either him or Chris to get a hold of, make Mary Sharon fall in love with them and get her money. So after that, Mary wanted to be done with Christopher Tracy after that. And so that was kind of like the climax of the movie after that. But this is going to be kind of short and sweet review of Under the Cherry Moon. So I just really encourage you to watch it. If you have never seen it, because it really is a good movie. And even I know I have talked trash about Graffiti Bridge, and I haven't did a review of it either. But it's actually kind of decent. Now of the three, it's probably the worst one, but Under the Cherry Moon is really very much a close second to Purple Rain. And I really do feel like Prince, like I said, he did a great job directing. And I just think that maybe some of the nuances, like we're really seeing the comedic side of Prince. And for some people, it just wasn't funny. Or for some people, it just was like, just not interesting or whatever. But what are your thoughts? Let me know. What are your thoughts about Under the Cherry Moon? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you just like it? Let me know what you think. So thank you guys for listening so much. Love you for the continued support of this podcast. And until I see y'all again or till y'all hear me again, peace and be wild, and may you live to see the dawn. Bye.